Hello there. Hey, Flickin' Real Fanatics. It is Jesse Swift and Sean Wingblade wrapping up our Kenobi Shobi. That's right. This is the final Shobi of the one Obi Wan Kenobi. This is our part 6, the finale review for Star Wars Obi Wan Kenobi. And we're going to dive into it, talking about the whole series, the finale, our thoughts, negatives, positives, and all that good stuff right after the jump. We'll see you then. May the Force be with you. Am I doing this right?
I have Thanos' glove.
Nice. My lightsaber is
gauntlet.
Blood orange flavored. Hey everyone. I'm so glad that some of you have returned because I have famously been pretty pessimistic about this show. Thank you for being patient with me.
Famously.
Yeah, there's at least 3 people that know that I haven't liked it.
At least minimum.
Yeah, at least minimum. Whoever follows me on Twitter. And I'm going to start off the bat real quick. This is the best episode of the series. That seems to be kind of in general agreed upon in the Twitter's internet sphere. It has some strengths. It has some things that we've been waiting to see, hear, speculate about. In short, though, I also feel like it resembles some of the pacing issues or weaknesses in the story that have led it to this point. I was told to be very open-minded going into this, and I was like, I will do my best. However, you could have a really shiny, nice roof on a house. If the foundation's crap, I don't know what to tell you. Now, I'm not saying it's crap. That's an exaggeration.
Okay. Like, you started off by saying this is my favorite of the episode, but the foundation. Okay, where are we going?
I'm lagging a little bit because my lighting's super bad. So I should probably try to fix that.
Yeah.
Anyways, everyone hop in the chat. Let us know. This is a full spoiler conversation. Let us know your favorite moments, what you liked and didn't like about this episode, about the series as a whole. Do you like the Obi-Wan straw on the overlay? As pointed out to us by Garth Harkness McMurray, so that's cool. Garth.
I switched it. I put it off to the side, so it wasn't just going up the center of you anymore.
I know. I miss it. I want my light straw saber back.
I can bring it back.
In short, Sean, how have you felt about the series, and where did the finale land for you?
This was definitely the best episode, for sure. And yes, Vader did have some voice distortion, which was really cool. I'm sure we'll get to that part too, because I think that was definitely the highlight of this highlight episode, type of thing. But you're not wrong where you like. I think most of the issues with this show have been technical and pacing. It's been editing and pacing of the story, not the content of the story. I think it's fine, and I think that the length of each episode along with the length of the series as a whole very much lends this to be like, okay, this was a movie that they just had to do what they could to spread it out, because this would be a great movie. And I think that might be one of the best things about this show is the internet is full of a lot of great editors and fanboys. And I think someone is going to take these 6 episodes and edit this down to like a 2.5 to a 3 hour movie.
Grace.
And
Grace already did it.
Feel free, Topher. But this is going to play awesome as an Obi-Wan story in the sense of, okay, cool, I can sit down for 220 to 240 and just watch this whole story play out type of thing, instead of waiting week to week. Or this might have been better as like a binge episode, because I've said this about WandaVision, right? When I watched WandaVision week to week, I wasn't quite as, I liked it just fine. I just wasn't quite as high as everyone else was it. But when Multiverse Madness came out, I went back and binged the entire show. I loved it so much more when I could just watch it as a 4-hour movie, just one
There
after
are
the other.
things
Bang, bang, bang.
that benefit from the binge model and things that don't. And you and I have talked about it on this show, is I think the solution lies somewhere in the middle. You have, and I'll keep referencing because I think this is one of the best examples. Arcane dropped, it was like 3 episodes every week.
Okay.
For a 9-episode series. I was like, I feel like that's great. You don't have to watch binge it all at once, but you could sit down and binge 3 episodes. You feel like you've gotten a healthy chunk. Jesus, which is actually a friend from work. What's up, Connor? Oh, by the way, Connor Kenobi.
I thought his name was a reference to Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Could be. But this is Connor Kenobi. Hopefully he doesn't get mad at me for blasting the last name out there. But I do work with Kenobi.
What?
It's spelled differently, though, but I can't. I won't share that much information. Anyways, thank you for joining us on here. And Connor and I talk about it at work all the time. Scott says the series would have been better dropping 2 episodes a week. I do agree with that. We did get 2 episodes the first week. But I agree that this should have been a movie, because there is filler is one issue. There's things that feel like they weren't necessary. Also, for some reason, the budget seemed to show more in Obi Wan than it has in some of the other Star Wars shows. Not that it was bad by television standards, but I felt like it wasn't up to Star Wars standards.
I definitely, and that's been a huge complaint I've heard from a lot of reviewers, is the volume, that they didn't properly use the volume to show it. Everything seemed flat in the background. Yes. Nothing seemed to have any texture or weight to it. And you could see that in, I think it was the 4th episode, 4th part, when the showdown between Reva and Obi Wan before she lets him go, and she kind of reveals her whole plan or whatever. Maybe that was the 5th episode, and that might have been the 5th. But you get all the stormtroopers bottlenecked, right? And there's only 20. You send 20 troopers to take on Obi Wan, who was the greatest general of the entire, of the entire Galactic Empire at one point. And so before it became, the Empire type of thing, the Republic, I suppose. So it's like, all right, well, yeah, no, because we can only fit 20 troopers on the set. Maybe we could have replicated them in the background or something. Hey, we got spam bots.
Yeah, get that out of here. Put that thing back where it came from. Dum, dum, dum. Oh, more.
I can do it. Report on commercial content spam.
Oh, wow. Hi. Don't click that link, everybody.
No, yeah, don't. It's just spam bots. Don't worry.
Straight to the episode of Herogasm from Amazon's The Boys, which they're just watching, by the way. But this is what I'm talking about. So Elvis, phenomenal, right? Completely taking up my brain. And then I watch Herogasm by The Boys, and that also is just like so much. And it's like rolling back to Wednesday, which I feel like I was the last person on the planet to watch the finale of Obi Wan, because I woke up at like 6 a.m. about an hour before I needed to head to work, and I had to make a choice. And I was like, it was Miss Marvel episode 3 or Obi Wan, and I picked the one that had been consistent for me. And that was Miss Marvel. No regrets.
Anyways, mean, Obi Wan was consistent.
Disappointing. No. Listen, I said I wasn't going to crap all of this episode, and I'm not. The dialogue, this was a point that was brought up by somebody else, between Anakin and Obi-Wan, or Vader and Obi-Wan, was the stuff of legends. It was tremendous the whole way through. I thought it was great. When Vader just brutally buried Obi-Wan in rocks, and he was using the Force just to hold it off of him, and then he thinks of Leia, he thinks of Luke, and he blows all the rocks away. I got goosebumps and my eyes got wet, and I was like, where was this? All of a sudden I care. The 6th episode in, and I care. So it was like I was getting so mixed between elated and frustrated, right? Because it felt like it was having a hard time earning the arrival of those moments. But it was great. And the beauty of Obi-Wan fighting for Anakin's kids that he doesn't know about.
Right.
And that's what's giving him his resurgence of power. You know, he says your strength has returned. But
Yeah.
you know,
I thought that moment is when Qui-Gon was going to pop in. I didn't realize they were going to wait till the end. I thought that's when, because that's definitely like, you know, Spider-Man Homecoming. That's the Peter Parker moment under the Rebel. He's like, come on, Spider-Man. You know, that.
Come on, Obi-Wan.
Yeah, exactly. So Obi-Wan was giving himself the same pep talk. And I thought Qui-Gon was going to pop in there, but obviously we didn't get that. But it was awesome. It was cool. And the fight itself with the boulders and the rocks, I mean, that is the highlight that's the best Star Wars thing to happen in like the last like 4 or 5 years. Like, legit,
let me throw this out there.
That entire scene was just amazing.
For me, oops, I'm gonna punch the mic real quick. Hope you like that. For me,
nice.
You mean Disney should make it non-canon? Haha, but very nice, very nice. That is not what I meant. But
from a certain point of view,
Lauren and I agree that Lauren, my wife, for those that you don't know, that was the best duel in Star Wars. Now, it may not emotionally be the strongest duel because I feel like it wasn't as earned as well as it could have been. I still think that belongs to the throne room. I think it's the throne. Is it the throne room? No, it's like the fight between Vader and Luke in Empire Strikes Back. At the end,
Empire.
Yeah, the aggression behind it,
Bespin.
Yeah, then in Bespin and the discovery of obviously the no, I am your father, and there were so many great reveals. There was a lot of emotion, and it was brutal. And Luke was outmatched; he was completely out of his depth because he hadn't finished his training with Yoda. There was so much going into that fight, so the choreograph may be a little dated, but the emotion still stands up and it still ages incredibly well. This was kind of the other way around. The choreography of the fight was incredible. I love the spin moves. I love how it took like the best of the prequel era and like ramped it up. There was some really great sword play in there, and the lightsabers have never felt as real as they did right there. So I loved the hell out of that. And the other moment that got me, I teared up 3 different times during this fight. Like just all of a sudden it was getting me all at once.
Just during the fight itself, not the whole episode, but just the fight. Because the other one was when Obi-Wan finally decides that he's had enough, and he just goes. Yeah. I called it out loud. I said, "God mode." He goes like this. And there's like all these rocks coming behind him, and he just starts nailing Vader. I was screaming. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And you know where we learned that? You know where we learned what the Force was all about? Lifting rocks in the best Star Wars movie, which was The Last Jedi. The Force is all about lifting rocks. Jesse has left. Jesse, you can leave. That's fine. We have come to my Last Jedi TED Talk because it is the best Star Wars movie.
For the record, Luke was balancing Yoda on his foot, doing a handstand, trying to move a rock. And that happened in Empire Strikes Back, which is actually the best Star Wars movie. But and yeah, Scott said the fight had serious Starkiller vibes. Yeah, dude. And the other Starkiller reference for me was in episode 5 when Vader was holding the ship from leaving Jabim, right?
Yeah.
When it was trying to take off and he was stopping it.
Yep.
He's just saying, I wish they showed R2D2 with Leia at the end. Wait.
R2D2 is not currently with Bail. He belongs to Captain Antilles, I believe, at this moment, but I could be wrong on the timeline.
There you go.
Because Bail gives him to Captain Antilles on the ship, the diplomatic mission ship, whatever the term is. I can't remember. I'm not a Star Wars competitor. Don't ask me questions.
I continue to love everything about little Leia. She's perfect. She's fantastic. She's done nothing wrong. Her delivery is so far beyond what I've seen like kids that age. I love it. So that's great.
Except that she tried to run a comb through her already done and bunned up hair. Which I mean, look, listen, I have daughters. I have a daughter, and I've done her hair, and that is a no-no. You don't run a comb through hair that's already been done. You're just gonna fuck it up. You're gonna get flyaways, and it's not gonna look good. And then all the other cheer moms make fun of you for being a terrible. I'm sorry, I'm projecting.
Now, notice I haven't spoken of Reva at all yet. I'm gonna be brief. When she shows up on Tatooine with a freaking cloth bandage around her like penetrated stomach, I was like, Sure. Okay. We'll just if Darth Maul can survive getting cut in half, we can take Reva
There
walking
was
around.
no time for proper bandages while I'm in hyperspace trying to make it to Tatooine. I couldn't take the time on my ship, whatever ship she took
So
from Javine.
Qui-Gon is the only one that seems to be allergic to stabbing in the Star Wars universe.
Apparently, he's the only one. Maybe it hit a vital organ.
Yeah.
That's all I can think. It hit his heart or his lung or something. Yeah, I don't know.
And we do get some story exploration of her chasing down Luke. And hey, remember in New Hope when Luke saw a lightsaber? He's like, "Oh, what's this? Ooh, oh, well, hey, remember that crazy Sith Inquisitor lady that was chasing you with a red one of these? Yeah, or how she used like the Force to knock you against a rock? Remember that? Oh, what's the Force? Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
Maybe he blocked it out. Maybe he forgot and knocked some sense into his head, or knocked it out of his head rather. How did you feel about Reva's begin an arc? How did you feel about her arc to then kind of mellow out towards the end and I wouldn't say she was redeemed as much as she was at peace with her childhood trauma.
Can we get a zoom in on your watch tan line on your wrist?
I can. Hold on. Let me get closer. Can you see my sunglass tan line? I've had a sunglass tan since 2008 and it has not gone away because I have astigmatism in my eyes and I wear contacts, and if I squint too long they go blurry, so I just wear sunglasses. If I walk out the doors, I'm always wearing sunglasses.
Really quick before we go dive into the Reva of it all, I will remind everybody that special thing we're doing, the streamlabslink.com/flickandreel today and for the foreseeable future. Sean, I got it right the first time. We are going to attempt to do too many S names. One of you guys got to go. Scott, you're fired. All right, Sean or I myself will attempt to do our best ASMR reading of your Streamlabs. Sean did it on Miss Marvel, so I'm up next. We'll see how bad that goes. There you go. That's for that. So yeah, you want to talk about Reva's arc?
I like what I heard. I believe it was on Sean Sullivan's show, who had Frank Janis, Jake Berlin, and Saul, one name only, apparently. And they said that something I think it was from them I heard that Reva, every time she was overacting, like going over, which is a lot of complaints that people were complaining about Moses and Grimm in general, she was doing it in front of the other Inquisitors.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously she had ulterior motives. She wanted to get close to Vader to try to attack him and kill him. So I wonder if it wasn't necessarily an acting choice as much as a character choice of her character trying to be overly aggressive and big. And so that she wouldn't be found out to be like, have a different mission in mind. So that's the headcanon I'm going to roll with because I actually kind of like that idea. And they didn't tell me otherwise.
One of the other things I've heard mentioned that is kind of interesting when you think about it from, viewing it from the outside is how far down the path of the dark side Reva had to go and how much like Anakin she had to become to try to take revenge on him. Yeah. I was like, that's cool. I think it could have been written better. I think the premise of what you have is interesting and a good idea. And that's kind of something that I kept feeling consistently throughout the show is I was like, ooh, Obi Wan having to, go on a mission to save Leia. There's something interesting there involving the Inquisitors. It's interesting. Obviously, getting Vader and Obi Wan together again. It's all very interesting stuff. Mm-hmm. It feels a little rough around the edges. And
because you also have the comparison to Tala, who essentially was the same. She was, working for the good side while acting like she was bad. It would have been fun to have like the two parallel characters both as double agents and then finally realize they're both double agents. And Reva could have had a very similar storyline. And then they butt heads at some point and go, wait, no, we're on the same side type of thing. But they obviously didn't write her that way. And I think, who was it? Reva's character was hindered by the writing. I definitely agree, especially because like in episode 5, when she attacks Vader, when she finally gets the chance to attack him, I'm going to sneak up and go, rah, as I attack you. No, why would you try? You're being stealthy. You just go in for the kill. You just try to take him out. And they could have still had Vader survive that moment by essentially going, oh, like he had a force feeling, and he turns around and
Right.
stops her. He could have done the exact
He
same
should have
thing.
stopped her and said, "Your
Yeah,
thoughts
and
betray
just
you,
like
or your
exactly.
feelings
That's
betray."
yeah. Maybe you're the one who brought it up that I was referencing. Yeah, and so like they could have done the same things. It was just the way they approached it, and like I was saying before, it was the production and the pacing of it that had issues. Like all the content of it was fine. It was just the execution of it that was the issue.
I've had many people I think get frustrated towards me. It's like, oh, it's because your expectations. I was like, I didn't. Other than quality, I didn't have expectations going into the show. I was just so excited for it. I was like, Obi Wan, and I know Vader's in it. Great. The only expectation I had was like, I hope the fight's good, which it is. 5 hours later, but like the stuff in between, there's nothing to expect. I just would look at stuff at face value and say either that image is disappointing or the music or there's something off about something. It just didn't feel right.
Yeah. Managed expectations are important, and I believe they are a valid anti-criticism in some sense. When combating a negative review, that can be a valid argument. I don't think that applies to this situation because none of our expectations were about the story. My expectation was about the quality and the production of the show, and that's where the issues were. And it's sad to say a little bit with Deborah Chow maybe as a showrunner or director, and I don't know if she had total free reign or if she didn't get enough help or whatever the issue was, but that's where the issue was. And she did great on the previous show. Was it Mando season 2, where she had like 2 episodes,
season
2
1,
full episodes?
She was already getting into Obi Wan by season 2.
She did great, maybe with a different showrunner to usher her along, and maybe it's about a team effort. Not everyone can do everything on their own, and they shouldn't have to, especially with such big IP as this. So maybe it needs to be more of a team effort going forward.
We do have a Streamlab. I seem to not be able to make my soundboard work, so if we can remember after the show, I'll try to get that going again. But once again, it is John Lestrina. Thank you very much. Tips in $3. Appreciate you, John. And since Sean got the last one, I will attempt my ASMR voice. I can never say it right. ASMR voice. However, I don't have anything to drink. My throat's feeling a little dry. So we're just going to try to give you some raspy goodness here. You asked me why I let Dom go. I did it because at that moment, I respected him more than I did myself. One thing I've learned from Dom is that nothing really matters unless you have a code, and that was Brian O'Connor. How'd I do, guys? Am I going to make it in this world?
Great.
Perfect.
Doesn't quite sound like Paul Walker, but you nailed it.
I wasn't going for Paul Walker. I was just trying to ASMR.
It sounded like Brian O'Connor being Batman. So it worked for me.
So the things that we were talking about, again, thank you, John Lestrina. Off. So yeah, obviously we get that conclusion with Reva, and it was a lot of people predicting it kind of early on.
Yeah. I actually didn't. I didn't think she was going to go full turn. I thought she was just going to be in it for herself the whole time. And I think even in the moment, like I am not in the camp of Vader was redeemed. I'm not in the camp of Kylo Ren was redeemed. No. And I am not in the camp that Reva was redeemed just because she didn't kill someone.
Can we tackle that for a second?
She started a redemption arc, sure. But maybe it's she can be personal redemption where her soul is at ease, but you still did a lot of fucked up shit in the name of revenge, and just not killing a kid is not enough to put you over the hill. You have a lot of work to do.
We were talking about Moon Knight a little while ago. Let's talk about the scales of Osiris, right?
Yeah.
Destroyed Alderaan, saved his kid.
Yeah.
You're damned to hell. You're bad.
Billions of lives.
The whole concept of Vader is appearing as Anakin as like a Force ghost, I've called BS on always. I've always thought it was like wrong, but whatever. George Lucas does what he wants. So, anyways, yeah, certainly an attempt at redemption.
I think it was an attempt at your ASMR voice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked that Owen and Baru got some stuff to do.
Baru's a
I thought that was
badass.
fun. Baru's a badass.
Owen's a
She's just
punk.
like, oh, hold on, we got this, and it stands true because they live out in the desert. They're moisture farmers, so they're always dealing with Tuscan raiders and stuff. So I guess it stands to
That's
reason that they would
racist.
have some sort of
The Tuscans are not
defense.
what they've made out to be. They are a peaceful, cultured, well-developed.
Sand people.
That's worse. They're just the Tuscans.
But as far as we know them at this time, at this point, they I think that it gave them a little bit of something to do. I would have liked to see a little more time with them, just to give the actors themselves, like Joel Edgerton too. Like you cast Joel Edgerton, and he's in what, 2 episodes, 3 episodes maybe at the most, with just only a few scenes. So I would have liked to see a little more from him.
Yeah, and something I asked myself during the finale, as soon as he showed up, I turned to Lauren and I said, "Why was Camille Nanjiani in the show?"
Should have sent Jeff to Mustafar.
Good friends of the show, Mike.
I don't know. Why was Flea in this show?
Well, Flea serves the purpose because he's a non-actor that appears in movies at times, right, and he filled a bit role, right? Camille Nanjiani is getting fairly well known, and when you put him on the cast list, you're showing everybody that's in the show. We're like, oh, Camille's in this. What's he going to be?
Yeah.
Kind of nothing.
And the same with O'Shea Jackson Jr.
Right.
Like you think they're going to play these big parts, and they are important parts to the show, sure, but they also could have been played by any actor,
anybody.
Yeah, they were not leads of any, unless they're going to get some sort of spin-off and they're going to be some sort of ensemble team or something in the future, I guess, which is possible. Who said it earlier? Was it Vapion? To get away from these characters? No, because now the next spinoff is going to be Baru and Owen and Luke learning to be moisture farmers, and it's going to be Luke's the next 8 years of his life as he grows up to become a moisture farmer. Because Star Wars cannot get away from the Skywalkers. They just are going to keep on. The next thing is actually going to be the guy in the town square that Reva talks to and slaps the water out of his hand. He's actually getting a spin-off show.
Well, and he was Obi Wan's boss from the first episode.
Was that the same guy? I thought it was. I thought it was the same character. Yeah.
So actually, I heard about this. I heard about this Baru and Owen spinoff, and as an homage to the Blue Harvest original title of New Hope, for those of you who don't know, they'll be titling the series Blue Milk.
Perfect.
Yes.
I can't wait. No, I do agree in the sense of, look, I like Obi Wan. He's a badass. He was a badass in the prequels. I think what does a great service to anyone who hasn't, or anyone who plans to ever rewatch this show, go rewatch the entire Star Wars saga before you rewatch this show, or at least like the first 6 movies, just because so you can get the original trilogy and the prequels in your mind. Because I did that recently. I watched all 12 movies before this show had just dropped out, and I think that a lot of the emotions were hitting more for me than obviously for you, because you hadn't maybe rewatched it in a while. Plus, there were other issues going on.
The established stuff, it worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
But you take the totality of the show, it's not as much of a focus as I initially thought it was going to be. Or their arc, going back to the first or second, maybe it was the second episode, when Reva reveals, oh, Anakin's alive. I'm like, that's not from you. Like, that's not how that was supposed to go. It just seemed weak. Again, it's format of the show.
Sure.
It just says I could go a couple episodes for hitting Luke shooting swamp rats with his T-16. As could I. Give me the version of Duck Hunt that's just womp rats with shooting with T-16 guns.
Yeah, we should have got a scene with Luke and playing with like Biggs or something.
Yeah. And so ultimately, after last episode, I was like, that had some really cool stuff in it. That had some of the best Obi Wan and Vader stuff, and we now finally have the synergy of Anakin and Vader, where it was always felt kind of like 2 different characters. And that line of, "You didn't kill Anakin Skywalker, I did."
Yep.
Like he made a conscious choice to kill that part of him.
Yeah.
Which the Emperor, which we get to see Ian McDermott again, which is fun, cements. And he says, if you can't get, through your past or whatever, then, essentially he's like, you got to leave it behind because then you're still Anakin Skywalker. And I was like, okay, that's cool. One of my issues is, I guess Obi-Wan was just distracting Vader. What didn't make sense to me is when they're fighting, and he says, "Then my friend is truly dead." I was like, okay, now Obi, go in hard. You got nothing to lose. He's the devil. And Obi-Wan turns around and walks away. And I was like, bro, Alderaan's on your hands. You're responsible for Alderaan. And I said that out loud while we were watching the show. And I thought maybe there was going to be like something else. But unlike Mustafar, when he was still Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan didn't have a problem slicing off all 3 of his limbs and leaving him burning next to the lava.
Yeah.
But now that he's Vader, a mass murdering, genocidal, homicidal maniac, he goes, "Oh, my friend's dead. Darn," and walks off. And I was like, I knew that neither of them could die because I know where it's going, but you should have had some other force separate them.
I was truly expecting a Force Awakens type of moment on Starkiller Base where the planet is disintegrating and it physically separates them so that their battle cannot continue, and then they have to escape because the planet's going to blow up. That's what I was expecting to happen, and then he just got up and walked away. That is my one criticism about that entire sequence in the fight.
It was going so well.
Yeah, it was going so well,
and
the dialogue was killing it because it was
so
fully
good.
explaining why. Oh, you never told Luke that you killed his father. Da, da, da. It was fully explaining that. It's like no, he killed his. Darth killed his father. Okay, cool. No, I'm on board with the dialogue. And then you just walk away. Why? You have him down and cornered.
When he does say goodbye, he says, "Goodbye, Darth."
Hi, Allison. Hi. Give you attention.
He says goodbye, Darth, and he had never acknowledged him as Darth. He was always Darth. He was always, "I'm sorry, Anakin. I'm sorry for everything." And then we realize his friend's dead. He says goodbye, Darth. And then the next time we hear them talk in New Hope, he says, "Only a master of evil, Darth." So that ties that up as well.
Sure.
But it sours the Obi-Wan character for me. Not the series as a whole, but specifically him walking away when it made the least amount of sense to.
Sure.
Like I said, he was ready to put Anakin down when he was still Anakin Skywalker. Now he just leaves him to his own devices.
I thought I missed something. I thought I accidentally hit fast forward. And I rewound it to see that it happened again. I'm like, wait, no, what? He just left. He left him there. He just got up and left. Why? Finish the job.
And it's not like Obi-Wan was hurt. Obi-Wan was winning. He was doing great.
Right.
I think it should have been like Vader should have got scary strong or something, and Obi-Wan had to limp away. Because Obi-Wan beat Anakin, Vader should have beat Obi-Wan. And then Obi-Wan got saved or something.
I expected Obi-Wan to win because the line was last we met.
The learner.
Yeah, I was the learner and you were the master type of thing. So I was expecting Obi-Wan to win and give him one last lesson type of thing, which he did.
Yeah.
It was just the way that fight ended could have been done differently, and I think that goes back to writing and execution, production type of thing. But overall, I liked it, and they wrapped up a lot of good moments, and even at the end too, when he's talking to Leia, and he's like, hey, no one can ever know about this. We need to keep you safe. Okay, cool. Good. No wonder they don't never talk about it. She just remembers Ben Obi-Wan as this guy who helped her and saved her, and that's why she reaches out to him, because she knows that he will be there for her whenever she needs it.
And knew which planet to send the droids to.
Exactly. Yep. So that part works.
Mixed bag. High highs, some low lows. Ultimately, I wish for more. I don't. It sounds like I do, but just because I wanted to love it so much, it sounds like I hated it. It's just disappointing. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. I swear, Lauren and I were really laughing because at the end, I think Riva puts her lightsaber in the sand. And I said, if they bury another effing lightsaber on Tatooine, I will lose it. And because they're gonna have to have a tourist attraction and be like, dig up your very own lightsaber. It's like uncovering fossils.
There's so many out there.
I think lightsaber can't not end up in Tatooine. It's just always.
I wonder. There's been speculation about where will Riva end up, right? Because she's not dead, but she can't obviously survive the next 10 years or something. I mean, they'll have to somehow explain away where she goes, what happens to her. I wonder if she might show up in Fallen Order 2. What's the name of the second movie? Second game?
Survivor.
Jedi Survivor. Yes. I wonder, in Survivor is an apt title, if she might show up in that, because it's right around the same timeline, right? This is about 10 years after Cal Kestis is easily around. Or they've announced, or rumors, I don't think they announced anything, nothing's official, but Cal Kestis might get his own spinoff show with Cameron Monaghan, which I love him as an actor. He was fantastic in Shameless, which is where I saw him for the first time. And he was a Joker in Gotham. Yeah. And he's been fantastic as Cal Kestis. Granted, it's a video game, but I love that game. So I would love to see that. And maybe he helps redeem Riva in a way. You know, that's not his responsibility, but I could see her character carrying on in that game, and they have to face off against Vader or another big bad or the rest of the Inquisitors, because the Inquisitors aren't around in the original trilogy. So maybe that's the big bad, is them two face off, and then everyone dies, and that's why they're not around in the original trilogy. That could be fun.
You feel like the Grand Inquisitor, speaking of Inquisitors, was quite wasted in the show.
Quite wasted.
All right.
Yes,
I don't have to say much. I'm just like, he popped up in the beginning just for Riva to like backstab.
Yeah.
So you understood the threat of Riva. And then at the end, it's like, oh, I'm back to talk some more. I'm like, you didn't do anything this whole show.
Yeah, I think they didn't do a good enough job at explaining what the Grand Inquisitors were for anyone who didn't watch Rebels.
Right.
I watched Rebels, but I also forgot a lot of it because I have not rewatched Rebels. And at the time of watching it around for the first time, I wasn't really like analyzing Star Wars like we kind of are now, and a lot of the community is now. I was just watching it on like a week to week when it was released type of thing. I wasn't thinking about the themes of it and analyzing the characters of it. So I don't remember all the details, but I definitely think they did him a disservice.
We're popular with the wild dating sites here.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Good.
So, great, awesome. Fantastic.
All good. I got it.
Hey, you know what? Abuse of you.
Yeah, 5 years after the first. Yep. Perfect. So that would make a lot of sense. And I can't wait for that game to come out. I think it's next year, I believe. End of the year, this year, next year. When does? You know what? I'm gonna Google it just to be sure.
What is time but relative? I'm looking forward to. There's some other Star Wars game that had like a super badass trailer a little while ago, and I don't remember what it was called.
Launch 2023.
William Harold. Hello there.
This is 2023.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, let us know what you thought of Obi Wan, what you thought of this episode. Eclipse was the game I was talking about. Star Wars Eclipse. Thank you, William. Awesome. Mixed bag, I think, for us to varying degrees. We don't agree on everything about the show, but I think overall we wanted more from it, or at least a higher level of quality.
Yeah.
Still looking forward to the next thing from Star Wars, which I believe will be Mandalorian season 3. Or Andor.
No, Andor. Andor is in August, end of August, to run right over She-Hulk, just like Disney Plus wants to do for some reason.
That is a conversation for another day, because there's like all these articles like Miss Marvel, the lowest debuting Marvel show. I'm like, no shit. It's going against Obi Wan Kenobi. But,
it's going against Star Wars, dude. There's only so much, and so many other things on TV. There's only release stuff better. Do a better job.
You know what else comes out at the end of August, like rolling into September? Game of Thrones and Lord of the freaking Rings.
Mm-hmm. You know what else starts this week that no one's talking about? Westworld starts on Sunday.
That's a big
Season
show
4
for
of
a lot of
Westworld.
people.
I like Westworld, but no one is talking about it. Not a single. We've never even talked about Westworld.
Fabian says
Yeah.
Andor and Bad Batch. I don't talk about Westworld because I watched the first season and I kind of just
Okay. So so I like
we get it.
Westworld. The third season was weird, but I'm still down to watch the rest. But no one's talking about that. But the whole point is that there's so much shit on TV right now,
There is.
on the internet, on everywhere.
Andor looks fantastic from a trailer. I think the Andor trailer is stronger than the original Obi Wan trailer. If you don't count, the Duel of the Fates music, which is in fact cheating. So the whole season we're waiting for some kind of original Star Wars music. They did not use Duel of the Fates in this Duel of the Fates. But at the very end, they're like, here's Vader sitting in his throne room, which for me, for some reason, felt like a PS2 background. Like it didn't feel there. And then they're like, Imperial March. I'm like, oh, okay, finally. And then they cut that out. And then we get like the Force theme. And I'm like, can we just...
After watching this, I was like, see, man, I hope Obi-Wan gets his own spin-off show. This was a spin-off show. What? Am I confused about that? Yes, William. Yes. Well, it's Westworld is still on, starting this week, 2 days from now, Sunday. It starts. The new season starts.
I'm a huge Umbrella Academy fan, and I've only had a chance to watch one episode because there's all the other stuff going on. I would watch it. I was gonna watch
the dance off 10 minutes into it.
Dude, I was cracking up. I said, I have no idea what the hell's going on, but I am loving it.
I was so into it. My last thoughts about this are something I already said earlier, but basically they stuck the landing because this was definitely the best episode. So it's good to shine a polish on your product to leave people with a good thought in their mind, right? And I think the best thing about this is relatively short episodes. This will be an easy binge rewatch, I think, for a lot of people. And since it's only 6 episodes, this is essentially a good 3.5 to 4 hour movie. And I think, like I said earlier, there's a lot of good editors online and a lot of fanboys who can edit this down, I think, and remove a lot of the fluff and maybe some of the production issues and maybe add in their own music. And I think that one day on YouTube, you will find a crisp 2.5 hour Obi Wan movie and everyone will rewatch it and it'll be a lot of fun. That's my projection in the world for this show.
I like it. Vapion, I cannot tell you my excitement level for Sandman.
What? Are you the old man? Are you the old man for
I lose control of my body when talking about Sandman. Listen to it on Audible, read the graphic novel, get ready. Fantastic.
I'm gonna find the old man from Family Guy. Hold on.
MJ says it was more of a Reva Leia show. Jesse, the ice cream man.
Okay. I can see that. I can hear that, and I think that's kind of part of what we've been talking about too. I don't disagree.
So, anyways, that's pretty much wrapping it up, guys. Next time you'll see us should be tomorrow morning when we talk about news of the week on News and Views with Scott Fox. I was just texting him and I've unfired him, so he gets at least one more opportunity to prove himself.
Scott, you're back in the game.
You do have to change your name because I got to stop doing the Scott Sean thing. Or just, you guys have a show together.
You can just call me Wingblade. That's what everyone else does.
So, Wingblade, thank you so much for joining me on these 2 back-to-back episodes, and thank you for everyone in the chat and everyone that donated on Streamlabs. We appreciate you. Obi-Wan is done. We're taking a break from Star Wars, but we're going to keep rocking it with Miss Marvel Episode 4 review next week. On the Speakeasy next week, we'll probably talk about Elvis, Umbrella Academy, whatever else is...
The Boys.
The Boys. Hero-gasm. The conversation will not be suitable for most audiences. But
can I ask everyone who's currently watching this live?
Yes.
We just aired a Miss Marvel review. Do us a favor, click back over to our main YouTube channel, watch that. Like right now, do it right now. You can just leave the show. The show's over. You can go watch the Miss Marvel show, comment on it, like the video, and then come back to this one. The stream will be done, and you can comment on this video and make sure you like this video. And we will appreciate you and love you forever. And we'll see you on our next live show. which will be tomorrow morning, like Jesse just said.
Comments are very important. Thank you so much, guys. All right, I keep, for some reason, all of a sudden I started doing my old sign off, which is may the film be with you. Keep it real though, guys. Keep it real. It's probably because it's forced and real and whatever.